obviously it was the DP World Tour Championship in Dubai, and it was the Race to Dubai final. I actually watched quite a bit. Weirdly, I think that time kind of works for me, being on the morning, because I kind of get up, watched a bit of the golf. I was really cheering on for Sam Horsfield, who obviously listeners will know. He's been on the podcast. We did a great video with him as well. He was in the final group with Rory. Yeah. He kind of fell away a little bit. It wasn't his day. I was watching it quite closely, and it just kind of, he ended up shooting 74. And it just felt like nothing was going right. He still picked up €110,000 though.
And he broke 75.
So
not that disappointing.
You know what I was thinking though? This is weird, right? This is a stupid thing to say. But obviously he has won twice in the European Tour already. Yeah. He's an established golfer, really, good player clearly. When he was walking around the golf course, there was obviously crowds. I was thinking, I wonder how many people there in Dubai knew him off the back of the video.
I bet lots, because nearly 2 million people have watched that video.
That's what I was thinking. Like, not suggesting that he needs that kind of credibility, obviously, but like, there will have been people that go, "No, that's that lad that did the video with Rick Shiels." I bet there was. Anyway, he fell away a little bit, but it's nice to see him competitive. And
very much so.
It's weird how, I joke about this a few times, but a lot of the people that have been on the podcast, on the videos, have gone on to do good things. Minwoo Lee's had a great season. I think he came 8th in the Race to Dubai.
Listen, Tiger, again, I'm gonna Tiger. I'm a good luck charm. Just come and see me, and we'll definitely win more majors together.
Of course. Right, I've got a question for you though now.
Together.
Together as a team.
As a team.
So Rick takes one Instagram picture of you, you win a major, we get some of the credit. Right. Collin Morikawa yesterday shot 66.
Yes.
And he played incredibly. So he is just a tidy golfer. I just think everything about him just looks tidy. But I've got a question for you.
Go for it.
And this is a controversial one, so be prepared. It's come from a question that we've had an email that we've had. A bit of a Dear Rick, really. Is he a worthy winner of the Race to Dubai?
Well,
can I just go into put? Let me.
I think I know what you're going to bring up. But okay. Go on.
Well, yeah, you might know, but let me just for the listeners. So he won yesterday, so that's obviously unbelievable, and he has gone on to win the Race to Dubai. But we've had an email saying, "Is Morikawa really a European Tour member?" So, hi guys, great podcast. Possible discussion topic: is Collin Morikawa really a European Tour member? He's played 10 events, 6 of which are co-sanctioned USA with the majors and the WGC tournaments. And he's actually only played 3 kind of genuine, if you want to call it that, European Tour events this year. So I had a little look this morning because I thought that doesn't seem kind of right, but it is. So if you look on the European Tour for this year at Morikawa's season, he has played, I think it is 10 events that come under the European Tour. So he started off the season in Dubai at the end of January, which is the Amiga Dubai Desert Classic. So it's a genuine European Tour event. I think he's sponsored by Amiga, which is possibly why he was out there. And he came tied 68, so he didn't obviously play great. Yep. He then won a WGC, which is really a PJ Tour event, but it's co-sanctioned. He then played Masters, USPGA, US Open, obviously went on to win the Open. He also played the Aberdeen Scottish Open, so the genuine European Tour event the week before the Open, and came 71st, tied 71st, so again didn't do great. And he then played WGC, and then finally he won yesterday. Yeah. So he's actually played 3 genuine European Tour events, one of which is a sponsor. I think Amiga's one of his sponsors. The Scottish Open, to be fair, he's played in it, but it's the week before the Open, which is why a lot of the big names come to get a bit of links practice. And he's won the Tour Championship kind of final, if you like. So taking nothing away from, he is an absolute amazing golfer, world number 2, I believe now, and he's probably going to go on to be world number 1. I think he looks like a great guy, very humble, and has made it when he won the Open. But is it right he is now the European number 1? What do you think, Rick?
I must admit, I am always shocked at the names that are leading the Race to Dubai at the end of the season, because it is always the real big names, and typically they'd have had good seasons, but not particularly on the European Tour. Like, somebody who's played on the European Tour for every single week is never going to win the Race to Dubai.
No.
Unless they do really well in the WGCs, which, like you mentioned, the co-sanctioned, so you get points for the World Golf Championship, or they do really well in the major tournaments. All 4 major tournaments.
All 4 majors are co-sanctioned in all the WGC.
So they all count. So unless you've done them, if you've played in every single European Tour event and done really well, but typically if you're doing really well, a lot of the time you jump ship to PGA Tour if you can, or if you've done amazing in the majors, or you've done amazing in the WGCs. Somebody like, let me think of an example.
Tell you what, Minwoo Lee is, he came 6th, and he has, I think, pretty much played exclusively, obviously, European Tour.
Yes. So for him, he's obviously won. He won at the Scottish Open. He's done nicely in major tournaments, but he's never going to particularly win against the Collin Morikawa for the race to Dubai, just because the points, as soon as you win an Open or you win a major or you win a WGC, then you throw in obviously a big win like he did yesterday, you were just going to get catapulted to the top. Is it right? I'm not sure. He's the first American to win, which surprises me. I think Patrick Reed had a chance of winning it a couple of years ago, but he's the first American to win it, which again really does surprise me because so many Americans play in the qualifying events and they only have to play in a few European Tour events for it to actually properly count. I don't want to say it's not right because that's how that's how it's all planned out. That's how it's been designed to be. It's to encourage more of these big names to come and play. I was a little bit disappointed that not all of the big names came and played. For example, Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm had a legitimate chance of winning the Race to Dubai final, and he decided not to play. He didn't even fly over, which surprises me. You'll even look on the list here. Collin Morikawa has played 10 events that count. Billy Horschel, 11 events. Jon Rahm, 9. But then look at someone like Minwoo Lee. You're right. Minwoo Lee is the highest placed player that's played in 21 counting events. Nikolai Hogarth has played in 22. Rob McIntyre, 19. They're just not going to... Like, Richard Bland, he's had an unbelievable season. Richard Bland has had an unbelievable season. He's come 11th in the Race to Dubai. He's played in 23 events. He's playing over double what Collin Morikawa's played in. But then he's not won an Open. He's not won a big major tournament. The only way you could make it fair is if only European Tour events counted, and that's it. No co-sanction, nothing. But then you're not going to bring in the big money. You're not going to bring in £5 million purse or whatever it was.
It's something that I must admit, again, I've said this many times on the podcast, I'm not a big, huge watcher of the tour golf. I do dip in and out when things excite me, and this weekend definitely did excite me. So then when I saw this email this morning, I wanted to dig into a bit deeper. And it doesn't bother me either way massively. But it is strange that you can, like I said, you can win the European Tour kind of order of merit, essentially, with 3 actual European Tour events. I mean, one of which he did win. The other 2 didn't do very well in at all. So it's interesting to hear if people are watching this on YouTube, comment down below what you think, or if you want to email us, podcast@rickshiels.com, and we'll see what people's thoughts are, because it's a funny one, isn't it?
The one thing that makes me think that people aren't that fussed, I've never really heard any players complaining about it massively.
No.
Not massively. I've never heard, let's say, if a Richard Bland coming out this week and said, this is unfair, this is not right, because he's only played in half the events I have. But I don't really hear that, because I'm sure the way it's worked out, Richard Bland has made a lot more money than he would have done if it was only exclusive European Tour for this. So it swings around about. So for me, I'm obviously not fussed about it. I'm not going to have a big part in this, but for me, it's
You're fuming.
No, I think it's fair. I actually think it's fair.
Yeah.
Like, it's just how it's set up.
Yeah.
I just think it's fair.
It's fair in terms of how it's set up. It's not like anyone's doing anything kind of dodgy. It's just, is it a true reflection on the European Tour's number 1? Like, is Collin Morikawa, well, I suppose he's the world number 2, so he would be, but is he genuinely the European Tour's top player of this last calendar year?
I think,
because he's only played 3 times, so it's a weird one, isn't it? Like, you would say probably Minwoo Lee is.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm not that.